Hey everybody, this is Darren Sabater again, Bay Area News Group, East Bay Times, Mercury News, here with Mike Lefkow. Mike, we're heading into section championship week. It's we're almost to the finish line. Hard to believe. This is the 14th weekend of high school football in the Bay Area, and we've reached the CCS and NCS championship weekend. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready. Are the players ready?
Are the players ready? Are the coaches ready? Are the fans ready? Um, you'll be at a big game on Friday night, which we'll get into in a little bit, and I will be too. You're going to be out in Pittsburgh on Friday to see the Ugly Eagles take on the Pittsburgh Pirates. Guessing you're looking forward to that one.
Yeah, it's always a good game. Those teams are pretty equal most years, and they both have quality coaching and quality players, and they're big schools, and it should be fun.
I will be at Westmont High on Friday to see the St. Francis Lancers, undefeated, ranked number one in NorCal, going up against Sarah in a rematch of a game that was played on November 6th. We'll get more into that in a little bit, but before we get to our picks, let's just kind of look at where we are going into this weekend and what could happen after this weekend, depending on some of these results. It seems a slam dunk if St. Francis wins on Friday night. On Sunday, when the CIF announces its matchups for the state Open Division Championship game and the NorCal Regionals, St. Francis will be in that slot that De La Salle normally is in. They'll be in the Open Division game to play against the winner of this weekend's Mater Dei Servite game. Do you agree? That's a slam dunk.
It's the only way CIF can go. If St. Francis beats Sarah for a second time, they're 3-0 against Sarah and De La Salle this season. How do you deny them?
Right. Do they want to go? That's a good. That's a good question. I mean, they want to be the top dog in NorCal, and to be the top dog in NorCal means you got to go up against one of those behemoths down in SoCal.
I would think they'd want to go. I mean, if you're,
Right.
and maybe I'm speaking now from the player's position, but if you're 17, 18 years old, I mean, you want the opportunity to play the best. You're not sitting there saying, oh, Mater Dei.
We have a
Yeah,
better shot if we're in 1AA or 1A than we do in the. Oh, I think it's an honor, and I've always said that in this era of competitive equity, it's an honor to be at the top. I
right.
mean, it's an honor to be one of the 8 teams at the NorCal Basketball Open Division. It's an honor to be one of the 8 teams in the CCS Division 1 bracket, which means in that season, for the regular season going into the playoffs, you were considered one of the 8 best teams in the section.
Right.
I think that's an honor.
Yeah, it's an honor. And I mean, sure, Mater Dei, they're a very imposing team. So's St. John Bosco.
No,
What's
Servite. It's Servite, not Bosco this year.
Oh, okay, Servite.
Right.
I mean, but any of those teams down there, they're imposing. They're very good teams. For all I know, they could beat USC. But I mean, you want to play the best.
Right. If Sarah wins, then the CIF is going to have a decision to make. Will it take De La Salle, which is already in after beating Pittsburgh last week for the Open Division Championship? Pittsburgh has now slid into the Division 1 slot to play for the Division 1 Championship on Friday in the NCS. So De La Salle's already in the pool. If Sarah wins on Friday, it will be in the pool. And if Rockland wins, it will be in the pool. Who does the CIF take to play in that Open Division game? I think it should be De La Salle. I think their body of work, who they've played, who they've lost to. The St. Francis game on the road was really close. Could have gone either way, especially St. Francis had to score with a minute and change to go to win the game.
Right.
No, less. I think it was 16 seconds. It was less than that.
Oh yeah, that's right. It was.
Yeah. It was St. Francis scores really late to win after De La Salle made this incredible comeback. And then there are other losses to St. Francis Academy of Baltimore, which just beat IMG Academy last weekend. So I would think that De La Salle would get into that open slot, even though Sarah will have a win over St. Francis. It's also the second time they will have played. De La Salle didn't get a second shot at St. Francis. Sarah lost the first game soundly. So, but I mean, who knows what the state will do? They could pick Sarah. They could pick Rockland. What do you
Well, they
think?
could pick Rockland. I think that's a little harder to compare. But when you look at Sarah, St. Francis, and De La Salle, if Sarah beat St. Francis, yeah, I mean they could argue that Sarah beat a team that De La Salle didn't, but at the same time, like you say, De La Salle's body of work has been a little tougher than Sarah's this season.
If Rockland wins, Rockland will have 2 wins over Folsom. I assume Folsom's quarterback is playing now. He did not play in the first meeting against Rockland, which followed the De La Salle game when the quarterback got knocked out against De La Salle. So I assume Folsom's at full strength. Folsom could be on the board, but they're not going to be in the open division this year because they have losses to De La Salle and Rockland.
Right.
So
no, I think it's a 4-team. Sarah, St. Francis, De La Salle, and Rockland.
Sarah, St. Francis, De La Salle. Yep, exactly. So anyhow, you ready to get to the picks, or do you have anything else that's eating at you as we go into the section championship weekend?
Nope, we might as well talk about these games coming up Friday and Saturday.
All right, we're going to pick 9 games involving teams from our coverage area, starting off with the Central Coast Section Division 5 championship game that will be played at Westmont High on Saturday at 1 o'clock, where the Aragon at 8-4 will be taking on St. Francis of Watsonville, which beat Los Altos last week. So St. Francis of Watsonville at 9-3. By my research, this is St. Francis of Watsonville's first appearance in the CCS final. Aragon seeking its 3rd title. The San Mateo School won championships in 1992 and 1994. Cal Preps is predicting this to be an Aragon victory, 38-31. Evan Wiebeck is taking Aragon. I'm taking Aragon. Who are you taking?
Yep, call it a slam dunk for Aragon.
It's a sweep for the Aragon Dons. Is that right? I should know this.
Yeah, I should know these too, but I have to look it up.
I should know this. Game 2 on our list, Division 6, North Coast Section, Saturday afternoon, Salesian, a 6-time NCS champion, will be going up against Justin Siena, also a 6-time NCS champion. In the Max Preps era, Justin Siena is 2-1 against Salesian, but they have not played since 2008. Cal Preps is taking Salesian by 6. I'm taking Salesian. Evan's taking Salesian. Who you got?
Yep, we got another sweep. I'm going with
another sweep. All right. Okay. Division 3, North Coast Section. Benicia coming off a dramatic win over Las Lomas when the linebacker, what Guardian, what's his last name?
Guardian. God, I have to look it up again.
Right.
Guardian. Yeah, I can't remember his last name.
Guardian of the Galaxy. He made one hell of a play. Returned a fumble, 61 yards?
61 yards, yep.
To turn it around, kind of like a Los Gatos Bellarmine situation, where it went from 10-7 Las Lomas to a 14-10 victory for Benicia. Benicia's in the final at 9-3, going up against Windsor. Paul Cronin, the coach at Windsor, won a number of NCS titles with Cardinal Newman. He's now going for one with Windsor. Windsor's at 10-1. Windsor beat Benicia on October 1st, 38-14. I think it's going to be closer, but I'm taking Windsor. Evan, who has loved Benicia from start to finish, is going to go Benicia. Cal Preps is taking Windsor. So that's 2 for Windsor, 1 for Benicia. Who you got?
I'm going to go with Windsor also, but I think it's going to be a closer game than the first time.
Yeah, I totally agree. Game 4 on our list, Central Coast Section Division 4, Friday night at Sequoia High. Sacred Heart Prep against Homestead. Sacred Heart Prep is 5-7. Homestead is 7-5. Sacred Heart Prep is going to be appearing in its 8th CCS final. They're 5-2 in CCS championship games. Homestead is 0-2 in CCS finals, losing in 2002 and 2010. I think the Gators coming off that big win last week at Hillsdale, right? Very impressive.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking the Gators of Sacred Heart Prep. Cal Preps is taking Sacred Heart Prep 27-20. Evan is going Homestead. Who you got?
No, I originally picked Homestead, and then I switched it back to Sacred Heart Prep.
Why?
What's that?
Why?
I just think Sacred Heart Prep is playing real well right now. They're not a great team. Obviously, they're under 500, but they've played a tough schedule, and I think going into this game, they're going to have a little bit of an advantage.
For only playing football for about 20 years, they have a heck of a history, including their great team about 6 or 7 years ago with Ben Burkervin that won the CCS Open Division, when at that time that was the best teams in the CCS in the top division. And Sacred Heart Prep went undefeated 13-0 that year, beat Bellarmine in the final, and didn't make it to a NorCal game because that was before the current setup. So they were left out, even though they were 13-0. So I'm taking Sacred Heart Prep in that one. So everybody's taking Sacred Heart Prep except Evan, who's taking Homestead. Next one on the list, CCS Division 3, Christopher at 7-5, the Gilroy School, which opened its doors, I think 2009, somewhere around there. I mean, they haven't been around very long.
Well, I didn't know the school was that new.
Yeah, they're going up against Sacred Heart Cathedral, which has been around forever. San Francisco School is 5-7. Don't be misled by that 5-7 record. I mean, they have wins over Bellarmine and SI. Christopher won a CCS title in 2017. Sacred Heart Cathedral won its only title in 2008. They played in 2011, these teams, and Sacred Heart Cathedral won by 19. And Cal Preps has taken Sacred Heart Cathedral by a touchdown. Evan's going Christopher. I'm going Sacred Heart Cathedral, which is coming off a huge win over Mountain View last week. Who you got?
Well, I was tempted to go with Christopher, but I'm going to go with Sacred Heart Cathedral.
Wow. Okay. So we're all on Sacred Heart. Well, all of us except Evan. I think Evan's trying to make a comeback. What do you think? He's down 4 games in the standings.
He might be. I mean, for me, I was 12 games down.
You're 12 games back.
Yeah, I wasn't going to catch up, so I just said, well, pick the teams you really think are going to win.
Okay, this next one, CCS Division 2 final, Saturday night, Westmont High, 7 o'clock. Menlo School, 12-0 with the great Sergio Beltran, who's now thrown 51 touchdown passes, which is a CCS season record. He passed Anthony Gordon's mark last week in their huge win over San Benito, the top seed in the bracket. They're going to be playing Wilcox, which is 8-4. Menlo School is 0-4 in CCS finals. Wilcox is 2-8 in CCS finals, including 5 losses in a row. Those 5 losses, the most recent one was to Menlo Atherton, not Menlo School. Menlo Atherton with the great Troy Franklin and that team that they had in 2018. Wilcox led that game 21-0 and lost 33-28. Matt McLeod, who was a senior this year, he was a freshman that season, helped lead the comeback. Jalen Moss had a big game, had a big interception. He was a senior this year on the MA's team. The winning touchdown pass was to Troy Franklin. So anyhow, Wilcox, both of these teams are they need to win one. And who you got?
I'm going to go with Wilcox. I think they're going to break that 5-game losing streak.
Woo! Okay. Cal Preps. Who's Cal Preps got? Did I mark it down here? Cal Preps. Menlo, 31. Wilcox, 30.
That'd be a good game.
I'm taking Menlo. I took them last week to beat San Benito. I'm going to take them to finish the CCS playoffs undefeated, 13-0. But it could go either way. I mean, Wilcox is a tough team. They're gonna try to get after Beltran, and that veer offense that Wilcox runs with Luther. Is it Luther K. Glenn leading the way?
Right.
For the Chargers. It should be a heck of a game. Vitas Masica will be out there for us. I wish I could be in two places at the same time, but I'm going to be in Pleasanton on Saturday night for the North Coast Section Division II championship game. Campo Lindo at 9-3, going up against Foothill 10-2. Foothill went to Rancho Cotati last week and was awfully impressive. Their defense was just sensational to shut down Rancho to win 35-7. We make so much about Nick Walsh, the quarterback, who's had a terrific season, but they can play over at Foothill this year.
Yeah, that's a good team. And I mean, you look at Foothill's history, and they've been a pretty good team over the years. Matt Sweeney would coach there for a long time. So they've been tough for many years.
Hobner's doing a heck of a job there. I mean, it's just really eye-opening what's going on at Foothill. And it's eye-opening what's going on at Campo Lindo, because this was looking like a down year for the Cougars under a longtime coach, Kevin Macy, when they got blasted by Aptos on their home field 49-0, and then got blasted a couple of weeks later against Benicia 35-0. Well, the Cougars have come back and they're now 9-3, and Dashiell Weaver, the quarterback, I mean, he had 300 yards of offense last week in their big win over San Ramon Valley, 17-14. These teams have three common opponents this year. San Leandro both beat them. Campo won 34-27, and Foothill won 39-13. Both played San Ramon Valley on October 1. San Ramon beat Foothill 42-0. And as we just noted, Campo beat San Ramon last week 17-14. And both teams beat Dublin. Foothill beat them 24-10, and Dublin lost to Campo 38-28. Cal Preps is predicting Foothill to win this one by 13. They also predicted last week that San Ramon would win huge over Campo, and we all know what happened. Evan is taking Campo. I'm going Foothill this week. I learned my lesson last week. Who are you taking?
I'm going to go with Foothill.
You are too.
What's that?
We're both going Foothill.
Yeah, that was a real tough one to pick.
Tough.
Foothill has a good history, and as does Campo Lindo.
True.
But I'm going to give the edge to the home team on this one.
Campo is a 6-time NCS champion with his most recent title in 2017. Foothill, a 4-time NCS champion, seeking its first title in 21 years on Saturday night.
Wow.
And with the NCS playing championship games on home sites, Foothill, as the better seed, gets the home game. They will be in Pleasanton on Friday night.
But they're both hot teams coming into this thing.
No doubt. Only two more games on our list. We got Clayton Valley Charter at 9-3, a 4-time NCS champion with titles in 2019, 2015, 2014, and 2012, going up against the Pittsburgh Pirates, who have not won an NCS title in 30 years since their historic win over De La Salle at the Oakland Coliseum in 1991. They also have titles in 85 and 80. The NCS has gone to a new format in which Pittsburgh and Clayton and some of these other teams no longer have to beat De La Salle to win a championship. Pittsburgh lost to the Spartans last week in what the section called the Open Division Final. And now Pittsburgh slides into the Division I Final. We'll be playing Clayton Valley. You saw these teams play in 2018, and Clayton won 38-31. You remember that?
It was a tremendous game. Pittsburgh took the opening kickoff and returned it for a touchdown. And the Pirates were pretty talking a little head on the sideline after that happened. And then Clayton just came back. I mean, Pittsburgh made a couple of mistakes that really hurt them in that game. But I don't think anybody thought Clayton would win that game. They had a bunch of injuries to start the season that year.
Clayton's played a great schedule. Two common opponents for these teams. De La Salle, Clayton lost 42-21. and Pittsburgh lost last weekend 42-14. They also have Amador Valley. Pittsburgh now has an extra point against Amador Valley because I remember that score being 68-7. Max Preps is now listing it as 69-7. Whatever.
Well, no, I mean, the Pittsburgh coach said that was a mistake. It was 68-7. He said
68-7. And Clayton beat Amador 21-17. Can we make anything out of that?
Yeah, well, no, I mean, I don't think you can always make anything out of common opponents and what the score is. I mean, they both have very, very good teams. They play a little bit different style. Clayton is a running team. Pittsburgh will be more balanced. Will throw the ball. And of course, they have Jaden Rashada, who's one of the top quarterbacks in the country, top high school quarterbacks in the country. But
who is quote unquote gimpy right now? He wasn't very mobile against De La Salle, so he came in gimpy, is what Coach Galley called him after the game.
And that could be an issue because Clayton Valley has a pretty good pass rush.
Right. That being said, I'm taking Pittsburgh in this game to win on its home field. Evan's taking Pittsburgh. Cal Preps is taking Pittsburgh 28-27. Who do you got?
I'm going to take Pitt, but it's going to be a close game.
It's going to be really close.
Yeah.
Really close. Last one on the list. The St. Francis Lancers 11-0, playing for the CCS Division I championship against the Serra Padres at 10-1. We all know what happened a couple of weeks ago. Viliami Teo, Juju, 45 carries, 345 yards, single game school record. The Lancers also threw on them. I mean, Andrew Atkinson had 3 catches for 112 yards and 2 touchdowns. I mean, it was a dominant performance by the St. Francis Lancers, which they avenged their 49-7 loss to the Padres in the spring. So this will be the third meeting since April between the teams. Sarah's going to have to protect the ball, and they're going to have to find a way to not allow that great offensive line for St. Francis to open the holes that it did in the first meeting. They're going to have to control the ball with Patella G, who's a running back, who's really good. Both running backs were number 4. As we said, Sarah's undefeated in section championship games, 5-0 under Coach Walsh, 6-0 overall. St. Francis has more CCS titles than any program in the section, but has not won a title since 2014. They've been in some nail biters in the last few years, including, I believe, a double overtime loss to Valley Christian in 2018. And then I believe a 1-point loss to Serra in 2017. 31-30. So they lost 31-30 to Serra in 2017, and they came back and lost double overtime to Valley Christian the following year. I think it's going to be closer than the last time. Sarah's going to be really fired up. Coach Walsh, when he's so pumped up about this game, and I mean, last week after their big win over Bellarmine, we couldn't even talk to the players at Serra. He didn't want any bulletin board material. No bulletin board material for the St. Francis Lancers. Coach Walsh is all business this week, as I'm sure St. Francis is all business. I'm really looking forward to the rematch. What do you think?
I think it's going to be a very good game. I still think Patrick could have allowed his players to talk to you guys, but I mean, it's going to be a good game. It's going to be closer than the last time, and it would not surprise me if whoever wins, it will not surprise me. But I mean, do you want me to give you my prediction?
Sure. You go first.
I mean, I think St. Francis is going to win the game. I think it's their year. They've got a great team, but I mean, Serra is a big team, and they're probably just as talented as St. Francis. So it's going to be a terrific game. Probably, I think it'll be decided by less than a touchdown.
Coach Walsh said that the Padres finally found their identity last week.
Well, that might be the
case. Bellarmine 41-0.
Yeah, no, that might be the case.
Cal Preps predicts St. Francis by 10, 34-24. Evan is taking Sarah, and I am taking St. Francis to complete the undefeated 12-0 season, and they will move on to the Open Division State Championship game. It sounds like you're with me.
Well, St. Francis leads in our poll 75 to 25.
There you go. There you go. Anything you want to add before we wrap up?
No, I mean, I think it'll be a good weekend of football. There's some real good games. I mean, God, how can you now look forward to the St. Francis, Sarah, Pitt, Clayton Valley, Foothill
Campo, Wilcox, Menlo School.
Yeah, that's another great one. So there's at least 4 matchups that are really good.
Terrific. Really looking forward to it. Check out our coverage, mercurynews.com, eastbaytimes.com. Be sure to get a digital subscription, which helps us keep going. We will have coverage all weekend, including on Sunday, where I will be working to kind of make heads or tails out of the NorCal state matchups that will be announced probably Sunday morning. So check out our website for all the coverage this weekend. Thank you for watching. Thank you for reading. Until next time.